This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Bev's Video Kingdom is intended for a mature audience. Listener discretion is advised.
Bev's Video Kingdom really is brought to you by...
What the fuck?
What's up, dude?
One of my renters broke the toilet again. That dude takes giant shits. Now I know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Why don't you hire a property management company or something to take care of that stuff?
Because they suck, and they take 10%.
You know, our dude Hank owns and manages Heritage Realty Partners. I think he said he only charges 5%, and he visits each property at least once a month.
That's right, he's always posting beers from the road. You have his number?
Actually, I do. His personal number is 805-451-5734.
Perfect. Now he can deal with my renter's big shits.
Heritage Realty Partners.
For all your property management and investment needs.
This episode of Bev's Video Kingdom is brought to you by Sweet Man Child of Mine Adoption Services. Having trouble feeding and caring for your 30-something son? Does not so little Billy need to find a loving and caring home that will support his weed and porn habit? Isn't it time Joshua had a home with a working PlayStation 5 and a kegerator available to him in a nurturing and loving environment? Then you need to contact Sweet Man Child of Mine Adoption Services. When the burden of raising an adult child has become too much to bear, we'll do our best to find a home which can take in your child and give them the love and care they deserve. And while we search for that perfect home, your sweet big boy can stay at one of our fully furnished strip club / foster home facilities where he'll be able to play with other boys his age, enjoying the types of fun any 30 to 40-year-old piece of shit would be happy to do. Upon their adoption, we'll help you change your locks, change the passwords on all of your streaming services, and deal with the grief and trauma of giving up a full-on adult child in order to move on with your own life. Sweet Man Child of Mine Adoption Service, because that fucker definitely should have got a job years ago.
Dude, so the strippers are the like daycare people? They like just take care of them?
That's what it is.
I like that. They like the strippers are like thinking of these 40-year-old man children as fucking father figures. And they're like, gotta take care of him. It's actually could work perfectly, dude.
I wanna be at Beverly's, bringing me home with my movies. Just a blind by, no reason why. I love this scene. It's Scotch, I can brag, your favorite podcast. Let's start this thing.
Hello, BVK. How you all doing out there? What up? This is Brad. This is the BVK Bev's Video Kingdom podcast. And first of all, I do want to say, if you are joining us after attending the Catalina Wine Mixer at the State Theater Modesto, welcome to the BVK podcast. We are glad to have you here. We were up on stage doing some dumb shit, and now you're listening to us on the World Wide Web, or I don't even know. Can you even say that anymore? Does that make sense
Is it a thing?
to anybody?
I don't know if that's a thing.
Our podcast on the World Wide Web.
Are we just going to gloss over the fact that you started with hello?
Hello.
What was that?
I don't know. And if you are listening to us for like the 17th time or the 100th time, we appreciate you as just as much as anybody new that's here. So welcome, y'all. It is me, Brad. I am joined by Scotch. Scotch, how you doing?
I'm doing well, buddy. How are you?
Zach, what is up?
I think we should mention that the Catalina Wine Mixer has not happened yet.
Yeah, I'm kind of playing with time right here. Like we did Back to the Future last week, and so I'm kind of like doing a little bit of time traveling right here. But you know, that's the way it works in podcasting world sometimes.
So we haven't actually done it yet, but thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you.
You guys look great.
You guys were amazing.
Oh, I loved you guys.
Oh, and so were we. And we're you know what? Nate could not be here tonight. He is just off on a journey of some sort. I think it's some important journey to figure out how to get back to winning drafts, or
He looked pretty good there for a couple weeks, and then he went back to his old ways, and that just makes me happy.
yeah. So he's off with Aaron Rodgers again. There doing ayahuasca.
He's on a spiritual journey.
Yeah, just again. And so replacing him, but always intending to be on this podcast, was our dude from Last Call Brewing, Walter Ramirez. What is up, my man?
Hello.
Oi,
Copycat.
oi, Walter.
What's up, guys? Yeah, thanks for having me. Step Brothers is a podcast that I always wanted to be on when you guys said you're doing it. So I'm glad that you invited me back.
Well, not only that, but you also make fresh cans and kegs of Karate in the Garage, which if you were at the Catalina Wine Mixer, you probably had a few of those and were like, that's one of the best beers I've ever tried. And so you can get that at Last Call Brewing.
If you are still hungover from delicious beers, it's probably the Karate in the Garage because it definitely kicks you upside the head in a good way.
Yeah.
With
just delicious flavors and tastes.
Yes.
Thank you.
So
It's definitely one of our most popular beers, hazy double IPA, themed after the Step Brothers movie and the famous "Do You Want to Go Do Karate in the Garage" line. So it's a beer we've been making for a while now, and I don't know if kicking you in the head is a great endorsement, but
Metaphorically.
but yeah, it's a great beer. People love it, and it will you'll have a good time drinking it, I guess is what I'll say.
all right. Well, if you have not figured it out, we're talking about Step Brothers this week. And this is a movie that I will say I didn't jump on the train from the very beginning. It's it came out.
What does that mean?
I didn't see it in the
You didn't
theater.
see it.
I didn't
Okay.
see it when it
Right.
first came out. Like this is right around the time when I had my second child. And I feel like if you're a parent and you have like first kid, you can kind of manage some things. Once the second kid comes around, it's like you just stop watching movies and like things for like a whole chunk of years.
Well, you
where it's
stop
just-
watching movies for fun. You watch,
Yeah,
you watch
yeah.
a lot of movies that are...
Watch a lot of Bluey.
Yeah, all the Pixar. I'm well versed in all the Pixar stuff. I mean, people know that. But I will say that once you're not going to get out to the theater much. You're not going to have a whole lot of time to watch the stuff that you want to watch. And like, there's a whole period of years where I never just got to Step Brothers until way later. Like people would say quotes, and I would kind of like, oh yeah, kind of nod, and usually didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. Even Karate in the Garage when it first came out, I had to kind of ask some questions. I was like, okay, what? Oh, they're playing. Okay, I get it in the garage. Okay.
Oh yeah, like that movie Step Bros. Like Step
Step
Bros.
Bros,
They're like
that's right.
like Step Brothers. It's like, yeah, oh yeah, that's what it is.
That's what it is.
That movie I've seen a few times.
So we are talking about Step Brothers. This is Adam McKay. This is when he was still doing like just traditional comedies. This movie comes out in 2008, and it is a Adam McKay directed, Adam McKay written, but you get Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly both getting writing credits as well. I'm assuming whether they worked on the script together or if that's just for all of their improv kind of counting as writing.
Right.
I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know that the three of them worked together on a lot of stuff. And, I mean, not only... Because they did Anchorman and Talladega Nights before this. They also would do little shorts. Like, they did the Landlady one.
Oh,
with
yeah.
Will Ferrell. Little
the
girls cussing at him.
Yep.
And then they had another one called Green Team. That is just absolutely ridiculous. If you have a few minutes, go check out Green Team on YouTube. I think it's College Humor or whatever. But
So 2008 Step Brothers is it does well. It doesn't do like crazy. I mean, it's 60 million. Okay, here's the first thing that I got kind of tripped out about. $65 million budget.
that's a big
Does that
big-ass
seem
budget.
wild?
Yeah,
Like,
what's the
do
budget?
you think maybe they lied about that, or is that just a bunch of guys getting paid since there's a lot of pretty
Before this,
decent actors?
he did Old School, Anchorman, and Talladega Nights before this movie.
We're talking about Will Ferrell.
So he's got to be a big
Yeah, Will
fucking
Ferrell was
deal.
probably expensive.
That's probably like Will Ferrell's commanding like the most Will Ferrell money he could command right there, right?
It's probably true.
But that's still a lot. 65 mil. I mean, unless they really
but if Will Ferrell's getting 20,
did they really
wrecked the
crash a
boat?
boat? I mean, that's about what I'm thinking of anywhere else in the movie where they're, they had to pay for that Billy Joel cover band. I mean,
That's true.
But, I don't know. But yeah, that seems high. I actually didn't find the budget, and that surprises me.
Basically doubles its money worldwide, so 128 million. So it does well in the theaters. I will say, like I said, outside of the people who would kind of quote it here and there, like it just was not in my
Right.
like. How many of y'all saw it at the theater? Zach, did
No.
you?
Nope.
Scotch,
Nope.
I did.
Walter.
I saw it at the theaters. It was also 2008 was my first year in college, so
Oh, okay.
it
So
was
this is
Wheelhouse.
prime time for me to go to the movies and do nothing else but laugh at something. So I did get to see it in theaters in Chico.
So when you go to the theater, like you're expecting, like you've seen Talladega Nights, you've seen Old School, some of those other comedies from the previous years.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm expecting. Right? Anchorman, that whole kind of era of the Will Ferrell genre almost. He kind of does a lot of similar things in all his movies, but at the time, I think even now, they're all pretty hilarious.
Right.
So yeah, I walked in expecting to see something really raunchy and really funny, and I was not disappointed.
And
So when you leave the theater, are you thinking like this is one of my favorite comedies of all time, or was it like this was good on par with other things, or how did you feel about it?
I wouldn't say that I thought it was one of my favorites of all time. Since then, I think it's grown on me as something I go back to a lot more because it's hilarious and it's a movie that I quote pretty often. I think a lot of people quote it pretty often. I mean, we named beer after one of the quotes in the movie. So, but leaving the theater, I definitely thought, oh, I want to watch that again. Like it was a good laugh. Like I left feeling like I laughed a lot.
had to be a fun experience in the theater with everybody else as well, right?
Oh yeah, what I remember is the theater was just kind of uproarious with laughter. Right, it hit after hit after. There's so many good lines and good scenes in this movie and good gags that I thought that it was at the time Will Ferrell's best movie. Mm-hmm. I don't think that anymore, but definitely maybe it was like because it was new and it was fresh,
right?
But it was definitely something that I thought was hilarious.
Well, when you see a big movie like that as a comedy and the theater's just popping and everybody's laughing, like you do miss stuff. So this is definitely, I can see what you're saying. Going back to it, you want to go back, check it out. Was there jokes that kind of got laughed over or little one-liners that you just kind of missed the first time? And there's plenty of those in this movie for sure.
Well, that's why I'm really looking forward to the Catalina Wine Mixer that has already happened, but really hasn't happened yet. But I'm looking forward to seeing this in a theater with a bunch of people and actually reacting to it because I didn't get that experience at all.
Right.
People that want to see it too.
Right.
People that know what it is and are ready to laugh.
It's not like, showing your girlfriend or whatever, hey, check out this movie, and she just sits there and doesn't think it's funny because it's just raunchy, dumb comedy. But I think it's great, but I've never watched it with anybody else. I've only watched it by myself, I think. And I do enjoy it, but I can't wait for the theater experience to laugh with other people.
It was great.
Yeah.
This is like the last like big Will Ferrell movie. Like if you look at his things, he got The Other Guys comes out in 2010, a whole bunch of TV, producing stuff.
The campaign, isn't he part of the campaign?
He's part of it. I mean,
later,
but that's not a big movie.
So this does bring up, this is right on that cusp of where people talk about the whole, did comedy die, this and that. Like this is right in that era of when people start to question, like, can they do comedies like this anymore? And I think the answer is yes. Like there's a couple things, obviously, couple gay slurs in here that are probably, they're not going to fly nowadays, right. But it doesn't change the movie by any means. Like,
they're also unnecessary. It's like, not like
it's something you could throw 6 different words there that are just going to be still as funny and you're good to go. So it's not really, I think, something that can't happen. It's just, does Hollywood think that people don't have an appetite for this movie anymore or these types of movies? Is that what it is?
I don't know, man. It's weird because you're right. This type of movie just doesn't seem like it happens anymore at all. And even if they are careful with the language or the terms they use or whatever, they're just this fun, silly comedy stuff just doesn't happen anymore. And I don't know why.
Jennifer Lawrence just came out with one.
Oh, that's right.
That's like a raunchy rated R comedy. And that's the first one I can think of in a while. You know what I mean?
How did it do?
I don't think it killed.
Well, Holmes and Watson was John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell getting back together, which I didn't see it, but it sounded like it was not great.
It's trash.
It's from what I saw, it's like the worst movie.
But you saw the full thing, Walter?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say I saw it all the way through because I turned it off, but it seemed like it was Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly saying, "Hey, remember we did that other one? That's the only reason you're going to watch this."
Yeah.
And then
because it didn't stand up on its own at all.
And they also like tried to do like, it was like more of an action, like CGI-ish stuff too. Like they had like a whole bunch of action elements to it, which this doesn't at all, which again makes me wonder how they spent $65 million.
Yeah, there's not a lot of CGI in this one at all.
Yeah, that kind of R-rated raunchy comedy, you're right, it does that. Because I was thinking back, in Tropic Thunder was released like a month later in 2008, which is the same vein of film. And then it kind of stops. The Hangover is the next year, I think, 2009. But after like 2010, 2011, there's not a ton.
And not, especially rated R. There's like some PG-13 ones, but I guess that's kind of out of our wheelhouse since we're old men now.
Yeah, I guess Bridesmaids is 2010 or 2011.
Yeah.
And Where the Millers, I think, is one that was a pretty funny one that was rated R, but there's not a ton of
them.
We Are the
Millers like make any money? I don't know
that.
So just real quick, I looked up No Hard Feelings, the Jennifer Lawrence movie, and it's at $82.6 million. Came out end of June. So
okay, that's a
okay.
decent amount of money. I mean,
nowadays,
I couldn't imagine it costing too much.
Yeah.
Unless they paid her like $40 million or something.
She gets in a fight on the beach, fully nude, and it's like a couple minute long scene of her fighting people completely naked.
$45 million budget.
Yeah, 25.
Okay, so
Most-
25
double its money.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how many investments can you just double your money like just about instantly nowadays? And it seems like there are still people who want to see that type of comedy.
Right.
And I bet it does well once it gets to streaming too. That's
for
going to be
sure.
something that a lot of people are going to catch.
Yeah, but then again, like, how does that even work? Once it goes to streaming, is it like Spotify payments? You know what I mean? Like, how much are we getting from Spotify lately?
Well, I think that's why the strike
big
is
part
going
of the
on
strike
right now.
going on, yeah.
Is trying to figure out
Exactly.
who's that money go to and how do you get that guarantee? Because back in the day, the DVD sales were always going to be
big
huge.
back end, right?
Always going to be huge. And you know, if a movie did this much here, it's also going to do this much in the
Or they
back end.
find a new life on like DVD. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
certain movies, they do bad in the theater and then they just kill for DVD sales to like college kids or whatever.
Yeah.
That doesn't really happen with streaming, I don't think.
And we also got to talk about, I mean, AI that's the big concern now is like, can you just take a bunch of scripts that Adam McKay's written, plug them into an AI and kind of figure out, oh, this is how it works. And now we can just do that and then have a few cheap writers kind of adjust
Fix it, yeah.
and now we've got a movie. And that's a big concern as well.
Well, I mean, and it's funny because you think, well, we're so far away from that. Well, I literally did that with my commercial about an hour ago. Had ChatGPT crank one out, and I just went through, fixed it up,
Cleaned it up a little bit.
cleaned it up, and in about 30 minutes, I had a dumb commercial. So, and that was zero effort.
Don't tell people that. We don't need to peek behind the curtain.
So Joaquin Phoenix claims to have seen this film more times than any other film he's ever seen, which is pretty wild.
That's a fun fact.
Wow.
That's wild.
And it's kind of related to that just in the theaters right now, Oppenheimer's out, Christopher Nolan's newest, and go see it if you have not. It's a great movie. But he was saying that Talladega Nights is one of his favorite comedies of all time. So
Oh, he was on Rich Eisen's show when he said that. Yeah.
he said it, and Rich Eisen was losing his mind because he
Right.
was even quoting it and stuff. So, I mean, these types of comedies, Will Ferrell is something special. If you've never seen, like, on YouTube, when he got he was given, I think, by Adam McKay, a gift of the, like, security outfits for the Lakers, and he wore it at a game one time. He puts it on, and he goes and stands out on the court, like, at timeout, and he's just standing there staring at the crowd, like, just completely, like, straight-faced. And then Shaq was there at the game, and he ends up kicking Shaq out of the game because
Nice.
Shaq said he was about to leave, and he's like, "Hey, you want to come over and kick me out?"
Oh, jeez.
So
See, again, don't tell people that part.
it's just YouTube. Like, you can check out Will Ferrell just doing weird things. He did this whole baseball thing. He's a very interesting character.
He is. He's also very polarizing because I know people either love him or hate him.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's one of those things where he does his whole, you know, he definitely does his yelling thing. That's kind of his thing. And I know quite a few people that just don't like it. I love it. I think everything he does is funny to me.
If you're a new BVK listener, if you go back in some of our drafts, we did draft the most memorable Will Ferrell characters quite a ways back. So you can go deep into the archives for that one.
For Anchorman, maybe?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that
was
might have been it. That might have been it. So we did Anchorman, and we also did the most memorable Will Ferrell characters. So should we call Adam McKay in and have some conversations? You got some more to add before we move on?
Scotty, how did you watch it and how did you find it? Like, did you think it was funny this time around, or?
So originally, I just word of mouth, and I finally just got around to watching it. And again, like Brad was saying, I got tired of hearing quotes and not knowing what the joke was. And I am a Will Ferrell fan, and so then I remember the very first time I watched it, I didn't like it. Like, I actually, and again, sitting by myself watching the movie, built up, hyped up, and at one point, and I'll talk about this later, I just turned it off because like this is not funny.
You heard Dale's drumming and you were like, "Fuck this."
Well, there's a certain age I think you get to where you kind of like, if you don't get in the right frame of mind for you can easily
100%.
be like, "God damn, these guys are assholes!" Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is wrong with these people?
Absolutely. I just was not in the right headspace for it. Then I don't know when it was. Like, it wasn't that much long after that. It was like maybe 6-7 months after that. I go, okay, shit, it's on again. I'm gonna try again. So many people keep saying it's so great. I must have been in the perfect headspace for it, and I fucking loved it. There was just, I don't know why. It literally clicked, and I just laughed my ass off and I go, okay, I get it. And then now when it's on, I if it comes on, I start watching.
It's a great like remote drop movie, right?
Absolutely.
Like, if I know you don't, no one really surfs cable anymore, but hey, that's there, and you just kind of, no matter where it is in the film. I think you guys have talked about this a little bit before on the pod. You just put the remote down and it's on in the background. Or
it's the second time I've heard that
it.
reference, remote drop.
Rich Eisen, actually, we were just talking about. He. That's where I heard it the first time.
That's what they call
it. And when
it.
he asked Christopher Nolan that question, he said, "Hey, what's a movie that's a remote drop for you?"
So like when
He
you're
said
going
Talladega Nights.
and Roadhouse comes on, you're like, I'm
Yep.
watching
Yep,
the
just
rest
leaving
of
it
the
on.
shit. Yeah.
Yep.
It doesn't matter where you are in the movie. You just, or for me, what that is now in streaming is, I've got to pick up the house a little, maybe do the dishes. I want something on in the background.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's an easy one to click on because
Comfort
it's on my
movie.
recently watched.
Brad
so.
calls those Christmas present wrapping movies.
Oh,
Yep.
okay, yeah.
If whatever you're going to be like doing that type of chore or whatever, you're just like, I'm going to put that on while I'm doing that, and I don't need to pay attention. I know it by every beat.
Shout out to Brad's wife watching Love Actually for the 8,000th time.
Or my mom watching Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3 back to back to back. She'll go after it. Mine's terrible though. For my remote drop is like Boogie Nights. It could be the very beginning. I'm just like, shit. Now I got to sit here and watch. And this is like a long.
It's a long watch.
It takes a little while. All right. So should we get him in here, Adam McKay? I should say. So I said I didn't see it from the beginning. I never really caught it early on, and then the first time I saw it, I think Scotch was kind of like you. Like I was kind of by myself, just like, eh. And I might have even turned it off, like not because like, oh, I hate this. It was just like, oh, I got something to do, so I'll watch this later, and never really went back to it. And then probably a couple of years ago, I finally sat down and watched it, and I was like, okay, I get it now. It makes sense. And I'll talk about it later back. Shag Snag Body Bag. There's a couple of feelings about it, but now it's one of those, like you said, it's, you can throw it on and it's just like, okay, I know what's going to happen, and I know what to expect. And it's definitely a wacky comedy that deserves all the credit that people give it.
And it was so much fun to watch with all those people at the Catalina Wine Mixer.
Oh God, it was so much fun.
God, it was fun.
You guys
wasn't
were the best. Like, I mean, people yelling out lines.
Oh man,
When the Pony Boy line dropped, everybody,
Stay Gold Point.
it was great. It was great. All right, so we're going to bring in Adam McKay, and we're going to talk about Step Brothers. So let's go ahead and do that.
Pull up a chair and grab yourself a drink. We'll hypothesize what directors think. Maybe sometimes get a guess. Makes us look good. Let's drink, laugh, and pretend we know what we're doing. Drinking with the director, brought to you by Last Call Brewing.
If you guys listened to last week's episode, Zach threw out a little promise that there might be a little special guest. And just want to let you know, he's letting you all down. We do not have a special guest this time around.
Who did I say was going to be here?
You didn't say. You left it. You left it that there might be some special guests. And
Walter's here.
Walter's
God
not
damn,
the
why
special
are you
guest.
insulting Walter
Walter's
like
like he's like part of the family. Like he's not special.
You're not special anymore, Walter.
If you never think you are, you're never disappointed. So
There you go.
What I'm saying is that we have, if you're new to BDK, we do Drinking with the Director, where we hypothetically talk to the director, but at times we have talked to the director. We've talked to the main actors in some movies, so you can check out some of our old episodes. But today we don't have anybody from the Step Brothers movie.
Damn, I don't remember saying there was going to be a special guest. Did I really do
It
that?
might have even been for the Catalina Wine Mixer, but
That's what I said.
Now maybe I'm
I
spoiling
said
that.
somebody. I
it's
said
already
somebody
happened.
special was going to come to the Catalina Wine Mixer.
Oh, that can still happen,
and
or
that-
maybe it did happen.
The lie detector test determined that was a lie.
So Adam McKay, he is now kind of turned into more of a very critically acclaimed director, which is an interesting kind of transition from going from like really kind of what would be considered dumb comedies into now creating some movies that are very important, almost historically. He went with Vice. He did.
Well, The Big Short was before that.
Okay, The Big Short, then he did Vice, and then he does Don't Look Up.
Yeah.
So he's done some movies now that are kind of putting their finger on the pulse of society. So a little bit of a stray from what's going on with Step Brothers.
It kind of feels like Jordan Peele in a way, getting away from comedy and going into the serious stuff. And he went to horror and stuff, but kind of a similar thing. And Adam McKay started off at Saturday Night Live way back when, and then just ripping off these amazing comedies like Anchorman, Talladega, and this. And yeah, then next thing you know, he's doing The Big Short. That's just kind of definitely a right turn.
And all of them have a very interesting style, like a very kind of like satire, tongue-in-cheek with a lot of humor as well, but also some important messages as far as the economy or the environment, etc. So some pretty interesting choices.
Did McKay make as big a steaming pile of shit as Nope?
He did not.
He didn't?
Actually, I haven't seen any of the serious movies, to be honest.
That's hard.
Oh my god.
Oh, you have never seen Get Out?
No,
I think it was McKay's
I was talking
serious
McKay's.
Oh, McKay's serious movie.
Oh yeah.
I saw Get Out. Yeah,
I was just saying that you compared him to Peel, and
I was just saying
that Nope movie is such a piece of dog shit.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Get at me in the
Hot
mention.
take.
Shots fired there.
It's fucking terrible.
He was a part. Anytime that I can, even when I'm listening to the pod on my headphones at work, I can wiggle in a Marvel reference just because I know how much you guys love it on the pod.
Marbles. Talking about what?
yeah, you know.
Is that McKay also
Cat's
wrote for
Eyes.
Ant-Man.
Oh,
So
okay.
the tone of that movie was a bit different than all the other Marvel movies that had
Absolutely.
came before it.
Yeah.
Because it had a bit more of a comedic kind of vibe to it. And
Which it
he was
needed
a
with-
writer on that.
with
so.
Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely.
When you write for guys like Paul Rudd or Will Ferrell, do you write like the line and then in parentheses
just do your thing.
Paul Rudd voice? Like, close parentheses.
It just says Paul Rudd and says whatever Paul Rudd says.
Yeah.
that's the line.
Paul ad libs.
Well, that's the first thing I would want to talk to Adam McKay about. And I think we had the same question we were talking about Anchorman. It's like when you're filming a movie like this, obviously there's a ton of takes, and like you can go to outtakes and there's so many outtakes of lines that they say in the movie where they're trying different things. Like the whole scene where they're at the very beginning at the wedding and they're each kind of like you're saying, like their little thing, like they have like 17 different takes they do of what they're going to say.
Or when they're firing back and when they're laying in bed that first night, like firing back and forth insults and stuff. Like how many didn't get used.
Yeah, and so it's like, I mean, you're gonna use up a lot of footage. Maybe that's why it cost $65 million, because it's like,
That's
damn,
a good point.
we've got all these like all this footage now that we have to pay for because they're just ad-libbing constantly. So I don't know. Do you think the movie changes? Like I guess my question would be how much does the movie change as you're starting to get into it? As maybe like an idea comes up, like, oh shit, we should try that. And it's like, does it start to shift? Because you could see in this movie, like things like the Gardaki, like with the little bullies, it seems like it comes out of nowhere.
Right.
Like, was that just an idea? Like, oh, what if we had like these kid bullies? Like that just seems like it could have been tacked on.
Maybe that's where the budget was, the stunt kids to get beat up.
Some of a lot of parents off.
Some of the worst stunt work I've ever seen when he's like going around on the fucking.
Half of them are smiling.
Just like jumping backwards.
And there's one dude that looks like he's like about 40 that jumps back to you. I noticed. I was like, okay, that dude doesn't look like a kid. What's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, when you're dealing with a director like Adam and then with Will Ferrell, so they're both their backgrounds is Saturday Night Live, so they are probably just woodshedding this thing constantly throughout. And John C. Reilly wasn't really a comedy guy until he got involved with Will Ferrell in Talladega Nights. Like he was more of a serious. He did a lot of serious parts and bit parts here and they're not like just straight up silly comedy and stuff like that. But
Boogie Nights
can tell that he's
is
funny
serious,
as shit too.
but also like it's so silly in the same vein. Like you can see those comedic chops in Boogie Nights, which is weird because when he and Marky Mark are playing off of each other, like trying to like talk about like the weightlifting and stuff, it's like it's very funny.
Yeah.
When it's trying to be serious, but it's like that kind of adds to the movie.
Right.
The other question with Adam McKay is
wait. To answer your question, first of all, I don't think they changed the plot of the movie for the ad-libbing, right? Like, so you get like a set of parameters. You're like, this is the story. This is what we're going to do. Ad-lib within that. Like, I don't know if Will Ferrell could say something funny enough where they're like, fuck, we're adding a scene. You know what I mean? Do you think so?
I mean, that would be a good question.
That'd be fucking wild, though. It's a great question. If he was here, we'd ask him.
And then the other thing I'd want to ask him is that he has been on record saying that he wanted to do this as a serious movie first. I'm like, what does that mean? And did you have other actors?
What does that look like?
Did you have other actors like in mind if you were going to try to do this as a serious movie? Like, what is that?
Right.
Like, what do we mean here? Like, what was that idea?
Jason Segel and Seth Rogen are like the two brothers.
And it's like they're seriously like stunted, like, and it's like
They're
dealing
just,
with the
like,
emotional issues of the
depressed.
parents, and like they're like freaking out, like
Can't get him out of the house, and I don't think I'd want to see that movie.
I would. That sounds dope.
I knew you
Judd
would.
Apatow directing.
I went even
about 4 hours long.
I went even further to the serious thing, and it would be like Joaquin Phoenix and Eric Bana or something, because it's a serious film and it's just not in any way the same movie.
Ari Aster directed.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Man.
So my big question would be, so the latest thing that Adam McKay is working on, he's a producer and he directed one of the episodes of Winning Time, about the Lakers.
Dude.
And which is pretty much directly the reason why he and Will Ferrell are not together, and they don't work together anymore. They broke up their production company, and what happened was Will Ferrell is a lifetime Laker fan, diehard, and he wanted to be Jerry Buss. And apparently Adam McKay said that he could be Jerry Buss, but then they started thinking about it and realizing he doesn't really look like him. He's didn't
And the
think,
other guy's amazing.
right. And somebody else was involved. There was another actor that actually got hired on, but didn't like the breaking the fourth wall. Michael Shannon was actually going to be Jerry Buss first, and then he didn't like the fourth wall breaking, quit about 2 weeks before they were going to start filming, and so he went to John C. Reilly, and Adam McKay says his biggest mistake was he hired John C. Reilly, and John C. Reilly called Will Ferrell and told him.
He didn't know yet.
So he didn't let Will know first.
Right. And that pretty much ended it. So something I would like to know is, like, does he really think that if he told him that their friendship could have been salvaged, or do you think is it just Will Ferrell just being like butthurt because he didn't get to be Jerry Buss like he really wanted to? So that's kind of something I'd kind of want to know a little bit, because he always says that I handled it wrong. It did not end well, and it's my fault.
Well, I'm going to go out right here and just say it, that Adam McKay used Will Ferrell to make his career so he could do the movies and the shows that he wanted to, and now he's just tossing Will Ferrell's side. So that's pretty bullshit, Adam McKay.
He's probably got
If you were here right now, I'd probably punch you.
Yeah.
He's got a bunch of money. He can walk down any street in America and no one knows who the fuck he is.
Yeah.
His life sounds pretty dope.
Dude.
Will Ferrell can't leave his fucking front yard without
All I
people
know-
being like,
All I know is Winning Time, John C. Reilly is amazing as Jerry Buss.
So good,
It's
dude.
so good in that show.
I don't support anything that supports Los Angeles sports teams. Just
you haven't watched it, huh? It's
I actually haven't.
It's really good.
It's really dope.
Walter, did you check it out? Did you see the
I have not seen Winning Time, mostly because I want to do everything I can to avoid caring about the Los Angeles Lakers. But,
Yeah.
See?
but I've heard it's great.
man of
I've
real
heard it's
morals
awesome.
over here.
I've heard that it's done really, really well, and a podcast I listen to talks about it all the time. So I know that it's well done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't got around to.
Have you seen Vice or
Yeah. I've watched Vice. I did not watch Don't Look Up. I haven't seen that yet. I know it's on Netflix, but I haven't taken the time to sit down and see it.
It's okay.
I have a former colleague who was an economics teacher, and she was asking about, I was department chair, and she's like, can I show Big Short in class? And I was like, I don't know. I don't think so. And there's a strip club scene I know for sure. I was like, I don't know if we can do this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say no.
I'm pretty sure your dad showed Romeo and Juliet.
Well,
Boobs and
that's the 80s.
We watched him.
I'm sorry, that was the 70s. That was on a reel to reel.
The Big Short's another movie that if it's on, I just leave it on and I watch it. I
haven't watched that one
It's done really well.
Well, anything else for Adam McKay?
No, you're doing great, buddy.
Yeah.
Good job.
I guess the final question would be: does he ever plan to go back to silly comedy? Like, is he ever going to do it? Because I mean, there's comedy embedded in all of his recent movies. It's just a matter of will he go back to something as just a broad comedy like Step Brothers?
Yeah, and it's sad when, I mean, it's great that he's doing serious films and critically acclaimed and doing great stuff, but maybe this is part of the reason why they don't make great movies like this, because guys like this that are masters of it, they aren't doing it anymore. So it'd be kind of nice to have him go back and maybe do something that's decent. I don't know.
Are you saying his newest movies aren't decent?
Yeah, they suck.
Since you've seen zero of them.
I've seen none of them. I know they suck. That's why I haven't watched them.
He's working with a lot of firepower, dude. He's got Will Ferrell like all through the beginning, and then he moves on to freaking DiCaprio and
Christian Bale.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of clout right now. Adam McKay, he can probably pretty much do whatever he wants to do right now, and it'll be interesting to see what his next big thing's going to be. All right, Adam, get the fuck out of here. Go apologize to Will Ferrell. Do whatever you got to do to make up with that guy.
Grovel, dude.
Yeah, just walk up, show up.
He thinks he's too big now.
Oh my Lord. And you know what? Sometimes we start
He's leaving because he didn't get a beer.
We didn't even ask what he was drinking. Oh, he's drinking Will Ferrell's tears is what he's drinking. This is this this is Drinking with the Director, and we usually start with it, but we're going to go ahead and end with it today.
I like it.
We are Drinking with the Director, sponsored by Last Call Brewing, as you heard the promos say. And we're just going to go real quick around the room. And we have the guy who's brewed all of the beers that we're drinking right now. He's sitting next to us. So I'll just real quick give a name, and you give a brief description of each of them. Does that work?
Yeah, sure.
I'm drinking the Forgotten City dry hopped lager.
Yeah, Forgotten City's an El Dorado dry hopped lager. I really like doing dry hop lagers. A nice, clean, crispy, but it's got a little bit more hop flavor to it. It's not as I don't want to say simple, because that'd be a bad term to use, but it is a lot more character to it than your regular kind of lager, light lager or pilsner. The hops really kind of kick that up a bunch, and El Dorado's nice and tropical and fruity. So.
Nice.
Zach, what you got over there?
I'm drinking the Last Call. It's called Modelo 2. No, it's a delicious Alchemy de Oro Cerveza Artisanal.
Yeah, that's our Mexican lager. We did a collaboration with our mobile canner, our Street Cart Sour release, which we do every 4th of July weekend, just lined up with their 4th anniversary of doing business. So we got together with Jose and the crew at Alchemy, and we'd never done a Mexican lager before. It's something that he wanted to put his name on, so we put that together, and I think it came out pretty solid.
It's fucking great. I mean, 5%. It's you could probably crush like 20 of these.
Do you guys remember the BVK canning day? The guys that were there. There was a little collaboration with them.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Yeah, nice. That's the company that cans all our beers. So yeah, there's those guys.
Sweet.
And what are you drinking, Scotch? Something special over there in a very special glass.
Out of the Bev's Video Kingdom, beautiful glass that you can get at scotchbeck.com, and you can order them there. I am drinking. I've still got a few left, and Walter's probably just wanting me to drink them so before they get any older. I'm drinking some BVK IPA, the Director's Cut.
Ooh, delicious.
That is a bomb. What was that, Walter? What would we do over there at Last Call?
That was a hazy IPA with, I believe, Nectaron, Azacca, and I want to say El Dorado hops, if I remember. It's hard to remember because it was so long ago, and they should have been drank already. You guys,
was the first one.
The Hoist and Heavies guys did the same thing. I was on their podcast
They're like, tell
recently.
us about this.
No. What I mean is they pulled a beer of Hoist and Heavy Haze out that's a year old now. And I said, there's no way that's not good. That's not how it should be.
Dude. Beer's
Don't
good.
hold on to
Tastes
it.
Walter.
So
Yeah. I have a can of the first BVK IPA.
God, just don't ever drink it. It's
fridge.
Nostalgia. Don't ever drink it.
Okay. It's in the back right now. When I pulled this one out, it was behind it. I go, oh shit, I still have one. The first original ones, which is that a year and a half ago now?
It's longer than it's what we've.
No, because it's been annual, so that's 2 Januaries ago.
Yeah. So anyway,
quick shout out to Ed and Josh from Hoisting. Quick shout out to Ed and Josh from Hoisting Heavies. It's a great beer podcast, and they are now putting out more episodes. They had a little hiatus for a little bit, but there is going to be a release party, I believe, the day before the Catalina Wine Mixer, August 11th.
Yes, Hoist and Heavy Haze version 3 will be out on the 11th of August, right before the Catalina Wine Mixer. We're going to throw a release party. That's also celebrating both of their birthdays. Their birthdays are at the beginning of August as well. So we'll have
perfect. August 11th, if you're looking for something to do, go check that out.
I'm not at Last Call. Or if you're already there, because
room.
It's past. I guess I don't know where we're doing with time now, but
this is coming out before that. So I just wanted to welcome listeners who might have heard about us at the Catalina Wine Mixer. This might be the first episode they're listening to. So we're trying to, we're just playing with time here. That's what we do on BVK Podcast.
I'm not listening to Hoist and Heavy's podcast until Ed grows his hair back out. This fucking aggression.
I saw that picture. I didn't know who it was at first.
It's kind of sad, and then the craziest thing is that right after he did that, and if you listen to the recent Hoisting Heavies, you'll find out that right after Ed cut his hair, he broke his ankle in a softball game.
Damn,
he lost his power.
Yep.
So that's what happened. That's how it all went down.
He goes from a guy that would sell you LSD to a guy that would fucking sell you LSD and then arrest you because he's a fucking undercover cop. Happens quick.
Zach has no actual experience with that. That's just what he did. All right, folks, we're going to move on to our next category. So we'll see you in just a little bit.
Hello, listeners, and welcome to Quad Pro Quo. Right now, you are probably thinking to yourself, oh great, another movie podcast. Well, dear listener, you would be right. But throw in a couple of marriages, decades-long friendships, and a shared property line, and you have just another movie podcast with a shitload of drama. Inspired by the iconic quid pro quo scene in Silence of the Lambs, each week one of us will pick a movie. It could be a childhood favorite, a classic film noir, an Academy Award winner, or a complete dumpster fire that brings joy to that person's heart. The selector's objective? To get us to love, or at the very least, not hate their pick. Will our marriages, our friendships, and our neighborhood survive? Find out each Thursday on Quad Pro Quo.
Bev's Video Kingdom is brought to you by livingwithyourparents.com. Are you tired of adulting, bills, and the never-ending responsibilities of living on your own? Well, we've got an incredible solution for you. Welcome to the world of eternal comfort and care where you can live with your parents forever. That's right. Say goodbye to rent, utility bills, and that empty fridge. Imagine all the money you'll save. More vacations, hobbies, nudie magazines, and the latest gadgets are now within your reach. And don't forget about the free services. Your mom will cook all your favorite meals and keep your laundry fresh and folded. She's got it all covered. And your dad? He might grumble a bit here and there, but trust us, he loves having his little buddy or princess living there full time. I mean, that's why the old man works, right? So why bother with the hassle of adult life when you can embrace the joy of eternal family bonding? Experience the peace of mind that comes with knowing you're never alone and that your loved ones will always have your back and pay for fucking everything. So say yes to living with your parents forever and start enjoying the countless benefits of never leaving home. Visit our website or call to learn more. Livingwithyourparents.com. It fucking rules.
Dude.
It's just the other perspective.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty nice, doesn't it? I think we should do this.
I did it in my 20s, but
I think everybody
don't
does
want to talk about that right now.
I'm ready.
Is it a one-night stand, or do you hit it with a shovel, or take it home to mom and dad? It's like fuck, marry, or kill. It's Shag Snack Body Bag.
It works on that one, Scott.
It finally works.
The fucking shovel, hit him with the shovel works.
Upside the head.
Works
Or
real
you
good.
could have just tweaked it just to hit him with the symbol.
Yeah, that too.
That's true.
Yeah. Dude, I would not want to get hit by a cymbal. Those things are fucking...
Hit him with your nutsack.
Oh.
Did you guys watch the Dave Grohl, the Foo Fighters horror movie, the Studio 666
Oh,
thing?
this nah. Is it good?
Did you see it?
Dave Grohl, what?
Their little crazy movie they made.
Studio 666, the horror movie that Foo Fighters did.
No, I didn't.
I like how Zach says that. I was like, no, bro. No. I watch
I'm
real
well
horror.
above that.
Yeah, that's a fun horror. No, bro. But I think there's a scene where he like chucks a symbol across the room, like
Decapitates.
yeah.
That makes sense.
Kung Lao style.
That's actually realistic.
It could happen.
Those things
Now,
are
Dave
fucking
Grohl
serious.
actually acts in the movie. I thought it was just like they kind of like produced it and it's like random actors.
No, the band is in the movie.
The band is in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Is that about when the drummer dies?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
Oh, sorry,
a little
guys.
too soon. A little too
Sorry,
soon.
guys.
All you Foo Fighter fans out there.
The things that are okay to joke about on this pod.
Oh no, there's
The
nothing
things-
we can joke
the
about.
things that are not. Scott just looked at me like, whoa, bro.
That's the drummers like their little like bond and stuff. Like they all stick together.
That shit was funny.
All right, real quick, we're going to do a little housekeeping that we kind of missed at the beginning. We let our house just stay dirty. So I'm going to clean it now by saying we are a part of the Deluxe Edition Network. BVK is the podcast of the year for the Deluxe Edition Network, in case you didn't know that. And we won that by having a lot of support from all you listeners out there. So we appreciate you.
Wait.
What?
We won that because we have the best podcast on the network, dude. Let's be fucking serious.
Based on our listeners appreciating us, right?
Based on fucking just pure facts.
Okay, well, no, it is facts. If I could send the little fax emoji right now, I would do that because that's what it is. But we have podcasts of the month, which are just about as cool as podcasts of the year,
That's
but
fucking
not quite.
cute, dude. That's really cute.
Yeah.
Podcast of the month.
It's always fun to be podcast of the month. Our two podcasts of the month are Quad Pro Quo and also
The Broken System.
The Broken System. So we've got 2 podcasts of the month from the Deluxe Edition Network. They are both great. You should give them a listen. We've got true crime podcasts. We've got movie podcasts. We've got sports podcasts. We've got all sorts of just pop culture codcasts.
Quadcasts?
Quadcasts
about pickles, about fucking
Podcasts about
bananas, horses.
Yeah,
Whatever
how'd that
you
horse become a
want.
barber, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Barber horse.
Okay, so yeah, that's house cleaning. So now we are shag snogging, body bagging.
You're having all kinds of trouble with
I
your
am
mouth right now.
struggling. It's been a long day, a long week. All right.
What were you doing, Brad? Why is it a long week? You were in Half Moon Bay, living like the fucking rich people live.
And
Wasn't that 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, maybe.
That was
I was
like
drinking
yesterday.
beers and
Today.
drinking distilled liquors with oranges and the ice cubes.
Yeah.
And they didn't upcharge me, which was awesome.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
That
sounds-
sounds a life.
That
Sounds
fucking
pretty
pissed
tough.
me off, especially I re-listened to the pod and hearing that whole story again about you getting upcharged for an ice cube just made me angry again.
Well, it's just like at least just say, hey, we'll give you regular ice, or if you want to pay a little extra, we'll give you the nice
Right.
ice cube.
I mean-
I probably would have just accepted it and been like, yeah, I'll get the nice
I
ice
mean,
cube.
you go to Subway, you get a sandwich. Every time you ask for guacamole, they say there's going to be extra money. Extra
Yeah.
charge for that.
You
I
asked for
guess-
guacamole at Subway?
They tell you it's going to cost extra.
They make it fresh tableside? Sounds really good.
You go sit down at
probably-
your little booth and they walk.
It's probably for sure worth the extra money. It sounds so good.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just get avocado rather than guacamole?
Well, I meant avocado, and you guys are assholes.
Squeezing some fresh lime.
Tableside guac at Subway.
And I was also thinking about I meant Chipotle when I said guacamole. So anyway, let's what are we doing? We snag
We are
body
shag snagging body bag, and I want to go to Walter first. This is a movie that's dear to his heart.
Yeah.
So, what are you shagging from this movie?
All right, what am I shagging? I am shagging. I don't want to pick something too broadly. I'm shagging the Catalina Wine Mixer. Hopefully I didn't take that from anybody.
Fucking Catalina Wine
Yeah, the fucking Catalina Wine Mixer.
Catalina fucking wine mixer.
Because it came together at the end of the movie. It brings it all back. It brings the family back together. It's a great performance by Brennan and Dale. That's what I'm shagging, because also it birthed the Catalina. This movie birthed the Catalina Wine Mixer, right? It didn't exist, and then the movie happened, and we started the event.
Yeah,
So
it's a huge thing, and it's one of those things that, like, I just love how it just zooms in on each character that you've seen throughout the movie, and each of them are reacting in their own ways, and it's just it's so stupid but funny at the same time, because it's absolutely ludicrous
All
that
the
everybody's getting so
flashbacks.
emotional, like, about their whole situation in
The
the movie.
flashbacks where he's like a freaking centaur, and
Oh, yeah. She's like
Talking wood
speaking
elf.
some other language.
so dumb. Lumberjack. He comes in.
Yeah, he comes in as the lumberjack.
That's
It's
so
just
great.
it is ridiculous scene, but that is a great
But you're right. It's-
culmination for them. It's the appropriate culmination for the movie.
Absolutely, yeah. I remember it was one of those scenes in the movie where it just kind of like you just feel good because everything worked out, and it's just so great.
it's a happy ending.
Yeah,
Which is why I'd shag it.
exactly.
There you go.
Not
Zach.
for the cover band.
Oh, yeah.
Well, maybe somebody might be shagging or snagging that. We'll see. Zach, what you got? What are you shagging here?
So I watched this movie last night and we looked it up online, and I had seen it before, and we looked it up online and we were like, is this okay for the boys to watch?
No.
And we decided definitely okay for the boys to watch, because my daughter is in South Dakota for 2 weeks. So
Oh boy.
so it was me, my 11-year-old.
She at rodeo camp or what?
Literally riding horses, not at rodeo camp, but my sister-in-law
Something
lives-
similar.
My sister-in-laws both live in South Dakota, so my mother-in-law took my daughter all the way to South Dakota, and they're riding horses and going to Mount Rushmore and doing all sorts of cool shit. So,
Nice. Okay.
so she's out of the house. So we're like, can we watch this movie with the boys? They're old. They're 13 and 11. They're totally going to be cool with this. So we watch it, and my 11-year-old lost his fucking mind when Brennan puts his nutsack on the fucking drum set. And I'm just shagging like potty humor that spans all ages, because me and my wife are 40 years old and laughing our ass off. Jackson is running. He gets up out of his seat and is like running around the room. He's laughing and disgusted and like, I can't believe you're letting us watch this. What are we watching?
I will say,
Just fucking.
there's something special about like whenever like my daughter would go like to a sleepover or something and just be like my wife and I and our son. It's like you can throw on a movie that you know that you wouldn't do if the younger one's there.
Exactly.
And that is a fun
That's
ass
amazing.
experience.
So that's what I'm shagging. Just those potty humor jokes that I wouldn't want my 7-year-old to see, but my 11 and 13-year-olds were like, "Oh my god, this is fucking."
Are they giving you a look like, are you sure you should be letting
1,000%? A couple of times.
A lot of F-bombs going on.
Not the F-bombs they don't care about.
Yeah.
They a lot of it they don't care about. The sex stuff they get uncomfortable because they're watching it with mom and dad.
Right,
You know what I
the
mean?
sex in the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There was a couple of skip forward 30-second button
Right.
hits, but
Oh, it's so slimy.
yes, exactly. Right after that, Lisa goes, and they're just like standing up. And right after that, Lisa goes, fast forward. It's so slimy.
She pees in the urinal. She sticks her leg up and pisses in the urinal.
Well, I stopped fast forwarding and got the pissing in the urinal part.
Okay,
I
good.
thought that part was
perfect.
okay.
When she Captain Morgan's it, it's awesome.
That's a good lesson for the boys.
That was my shag.
That's so good.
All right. I'm going to shag just right following that up, Catherine Hahn.
Dude.
As Alice, it's such an incredible performance because she does a whole lot with very little time on screen.
She's a scene stealer, man.
But every time she's there, she's doing something fucking outrageous or she's saying something crazy. And now it's funny when you take it from now she's been on a lot of shows. She was on WandaVision. She's been in the Bad Moms movies. She's been on a lot of stuff now. But she was kind of unknown there, and just putting in work where you can say this lady can hang with the big boys. She can do whatever she needs to do to just add to this big crazy comedy. And every time she's on screen, she's just doing something wild.
When she starts singing in the car and he's like, "It's fucking flat. It's flat. $1,200 a month on singing lessons."
She's just keeping a straight face, just dead-eyed looking. Like you could tell she hates her life. She kind of hates her children. She kind of just hates everything that's going on there.
It's so
Dude,
fucking good.
The whole thing where she's talking about rolling them up in a little ball and putting it in her vagina.
Yeah. My boys were uncomfortable during that whole part too.
I just want to know you're up there.
I'm so glad you took that because that was another option in case somebody took something.
Yeah, that's my shag.
Oh, man.
Catherine Hahn, just
good.
a comedic genius, especially in this movie.
100%. I'm gonna shag just movies with adults doing kid shit. You know, just general man-childness and me just kind of going, that would be fucking fun. Like, just I'm not saying necessarily real life, but being an actor and getting to do all that dumb shit, like the karate in the garage. Like, how fun would that be to just be acting like an idiot and just doing all this dumb stuff that you really should be doing as an adult?
The scene that sums it up for me is when they're asking about the bunk beds, because they're in there and they're just so uncomfortably excited about it. Like, and you could just see like they thought about like, what is it like when you're like 8, 9, 10 years old and you want to do it's going to be the most important thing you can ever do in your life. And you're just hoping your parents allow you to do it or whatever. And
so much room for activities.
And they're just so excited. And then they're not seeing between the lines. They want the actual answer.
When they're asking about it,
Yeah,
so
they want the
that's a
actual
yes?
answer. Is that a yes?
I don't give a fuck. So good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Does your son know anything about carpentry?
Is that a power drill? No power tools.
I'm almost done anyways, Dad.
So good.
All right, let's move on to our snags. Zach, what are you snagging in this movie, my friend?
I just going back to Scott's, like the funniest thing I think, like they get the silliest, and like the part that was probably the funnest to film was the sleepwalking shit, where they're just going absolute fucking ape shit, and because they're sleepwalking, they can go like as far as they want.
Yeah,
right?
just make it
it's just
crazy.
so fucking ridiculous. I'm snagging claiming to be really good at something, but saying that you can't do it. I can't do it right now. I've got a sore throat, or I can't fucking, I'm like the best at X, but I can't do it right now. No, I can't do it right now because, you know, I don't have my equipment or fucking, you know what I mean? I'm nervous or whatever it is. Like that is like some of my favorite, like awkward people, like just like being very like braggadocious and verbose about how good you are at something. And then, no, I can't do it right now.
Yeah.
No, that's silly.
Like, oh, well, I have a guitar. I know, but my guitar is a little bit different.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
left-handed and I've got it in drop D, and you know, I don't think we'll be able to figure that out right now. That's my fucking favorite thing.
I may or may not have done that many times.
Bullshit. Because you're hella good at that shit.
But if I'm not on the right gear, how this.
But if you were like, I'm a marathon runner. No, I can't run a marathon right now. No, I don't have my right shoes. You know what I mean? It's like okay, bud.
I like he uses that analogy, like talking about me.
I love that. That's so.
I ever run a fucking. I can't even run to the mailbox.
You guys watch The Office, the show The Office.
That's That's funny. So Scott just says I can't run the mailbox. It's not like he's talking about like walking out of his house to his mailbox. His mailbox is literally like 300 yards down the road. Like it's an actual real jog.
Yeah.
That is.
Anyway.
Don't judge Scott.
I wouldn't do that
being able to get to the mailbox.
Yeah, I brought up The Office because Will Ferrell does that again in that show in his guest appearance where he's like, "Oh, I could. What is this? 8 feet? Yeah, no, 10. I could definitely dunk 10."
Yeah,
and then they go down to the warehouse and make him do it, and he like breaks his neck.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, I can dunk behind my back. It's like, oh no, these rims aren't regulation. Dude. I don't have my shoes. This floor's kind of slippery.
All right, Scotch, I think I know what you're going to be snagging here, and I might be just having to co-sign with you.
You think so?
I think so.
Well,
So what are you snagging?
Anything I'm snagging John C. Reilly.
That's what I have typed right here on my screen.
Oh, my gosh. He just, something about him. I love everything he does, and he's just funny to me, and he's also just super talented. I love him in general. One of my favorite movies is Walk Hard, and because he can sing, he wrote a lot of those songs in that movie. It's not like as funny as a lot of movies, but there's just something about his commitment to detail, and it's just a very fun. So I love that, and I love him. And like, check out some of the other stuff that he's done with Will Ferrell and Adam McKay. Some of those funny like college humor. The Landlords. Well, he's not in the Landlord one, but they do the Green Team. They do
in the fucking Lakers show.
Yeah, and the Lakers show is fantastic. So, winning time.
I am co-signing John C. Reilly's on my, but I'm going to add a few because Reed Rothschild and Boogie Nights is just such a tremendous character. He plays so perfectly. Like he's just kind of a dummy, but like he knows that he knows he's a little bit older than and a little bit more mature than Marky Mark, and so he's got to kind of show him the ropes. But he's also still just complete imbecile, like for the most part. But he also has played some crazier things previously, which he's been associated with Tim and Eric, and I'm going to be talking about that a little bit later. But Dr. Steve Brule,
that was the one. Yeah.
And if you've never seen John C. Reilly do Dr. Steve Brule, just look up YouTube Dr. Steve Brule. It's Brule. And it is just him being the weirdest person you could ever imagine. And it's so awkward and just amazing. And then there's a character named Taquito I'll talk about in a little bit later from a movie that if you've never seen it, it's going to be required.
His serious work is. I mean, he's just a great actor.
Gangs of New York. He plays a great role there. Yep. Yeah, he's.
Well, and before he was the Bake to Shake and Bake, he was also Buck Brotherton in Days of Thunder. That was one of his first actual acting roles.
That's right.
Yeah. Yep. He was like he was on.
I know that because Brad made me watch that movie.
I know that was old. That's an old basement tape. That's
Buck Brotherton was his name.
Buck Brotherton, and he was the son of a famous racer that died.
Okay,
and he's on Cole Trickle's.
The other guy's name's Cole Trickle, bro. Like
I didn't know that one, yeah,
he's
Rowdy Burns.
He's in a Marvel movie too, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, there you go.
He's been the dude has done a lot of stuff. So
we're gonna talk about that apparently.
Much love to John C. Reilly. And Walter, what are you snagging here?
I'm snagging Easter eggs in movies. So in the bedroom, there's a Hugo's Pizza car topper on Brennan's nightstand, and Hugo's Pizza, We Are Pizza, is who he worked for in Talladega Nights. After he stopped racing because he had the crash. Okay. So there's just Easter eggs in movies in general. I saw that not on my first watch through, obviously, but when I keep rewatching the movie, whenever it pops up, I kind of smile a little because Talladega Nights is a movie I can recite line for line from the beginning to the end. Mm-hmm. I really enjoy it, and so when I see that the car light topper from Hugo's Pizza, I think it's I just kind of think of Talladega Nights, and so Easter eggs in movies is something that I'm snagging there.
I always feel like that, like as much as like I would love to be like a movie maker or whatever director, but being able to do that shit, that seemed like that would be the funnest stuff. Like I'm gonna plug this in here, and like maybe like 17 fans are gonna get it, but at the same time. Yeah. That's going to be like for them, and that's they're going to notice it.
I'm not observational enough to notice that shit, but I love reading about it later on Reddit when people are like,
right now with the internet. Yeah, back in the day, that used to be a thing where it's like, I mean, maybe only 50 people actually see it, and it's not going to get spread. Now with the internet, of course, they'll be like, oh, here's the top 17 Easter eggs from this movie that just came out like 2 days ago.
Well, and it's references such as like a scene. One of my favorite scenes in Talladega Nights. He delivers to his dad, who he doesn't know is his dad. Hugo Pizza, we are pizza. He goes, we are pizza. What does that mean? I don't know. They make me say it. I don't know what it means. So it's such a. It makes me remember the first time I watched Talladega Nights. Also, so I really like that.
I love it.
All right,
The OG Easter eggs were like, you got to go to the part where the priest is in Little Mermaid. He gets a boner at this time.
when the dust,
It says sex in the
it says
dust.
sex. Sorry. When fucking what was it?
Aladdin.
In Roger Rabbit, when Jessica Rabbit falls out of the taxi, like
you can see her poonie. Yeah, her front butt.
her front butt. You know what, Walter? We're gonna go right back to you. We're gonna let you. This movie's important. You love it. What are you gonna body bag from it?
So I want to body bag. I don't love the beginning of the movie. Just the way that everything seems so rushed when when their mom and dad get together. They're at a conference, they meet, they seem to sleep together once, and then they're married. So I get that the pacing's not super important in this genre of film, but I don't love the beginning. Once we get into the hijinks, I love it, but when we get to them moving in together, that starts.
I also
really
agree.
funny.
Like I didn't love when he says he's doing his speech and he's all of a sudden he's like, put my head between your breasts. Like nobody would ever say something like that out loud.
That is, and again, that's not my body bag, but I am right there with that. Like that part, I was like, it seems like they could have done that a little less heavy handed. That was just really.
He could have been distracted. He could have said something silly or something, but that was just like he literally said
something that like makes her chuckle. Like if he says that, she's gonna be like, "What the fuck's wrong with this guy?"
Or even if we start with they're already dating, but they haven't told each other about their adult children, and then that's where the movie starts, kind of thing. It just seems very like, hey, these people aren't together now. They are. We're gonna force it really fast.
Can I go next?
Yeah,
because I'm piggybacking. Because I feel the opposite way. I like the beginning, but any point in any of these movies, these Will Ferrell movies, where they like try to insert plot points into the fucking thing, like we don't need a plot. It doesn't need to happen. We just need Will Ferrell. We just need them to. We just need them to end up in a fucking house together and hijinks ensue. Right. That's all we need. We don't need the fucking all the drama or like the redemption story. Any of that. I don't need it. That's my body bag. I want no story. I just want Will Ferrell and fucking what's his name. We know the setup, and they just yell shit. They yell shit at each other.
Shame on you, sir. It's John C.
Reilly. Both of their snags.
John C. Reilly.
Sir John Reilly.
So my body bag is interesting because, well, Zach referenced it a little while ago, and as fun as it would be to do the sleepwalking scene is literally
so over the top.
The thing that made me turn it off the first watch.
Are you making me co-sign again?
I guess so.
Holy shit. I was going to go the sleepwalking scene.
So ridiculous.
It was literally, when I was watching it the first time, I was sitting there going, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. And I still don't like it. It's so over the top. It's so dumb. It's more funny now. Because I'm kind of like saying, hey, relax, don't get so serious. There's some funny shit that happens, but again, that's what made me initially hate this movie, but then I came back.
The Christmas tree almost redeems it because they're doing it together. The fact that they like come in together, but the sleepwalking for me, it's like a weird SNL sketch. It's just like, this seems like something they would do on Saturday Night Live, and you'd be like, it's kind of funny, but it just has no place in the movie. It doesn't push the plot forward, which is stupid to say in a movie like this. But
it's a huge plot point, dude. They fuck up the kitchen, and that's why the dad's like, "Oh, I want a divorce."
No, they don't even know.
It's the Christmas one, because then he wakes him up and they fight with him.
They throw him down the stairs.
Yeah.
That's what
he has to. Oh, that's right. He has to wake him up.
Yeah.
Fuck. I think it's stupid.
Happiest moment of my life was when I was at the Cheesecake Factory 30 minutes ago.
I love that.
But she said, well, I feel sorry for you.
It does lead to that. That was a good line. Oh, damn.
So the other thing,
maybe I have to take it back
as my body bag. The other thing is that they showed the crashing of the boat in the music video. Like, even those two idiots would not have kept that in the video.
And like he would have known about it already.
Yeah, like
previous to them showing.
And what was their they're like, we're gonna make so much money off this. Don't worry about it. Like
we'll fix that. We'll fix that.
Which we will fix.
Oh man. Okay, so that is Shag Snag Body Bag. We're gonna continue moving forward with this.
How the fuck could we miss that one?
It's not the right one.
Wrong
I
buttons.
think it's the wrong episode.
Hang on, turn it up again. It's halfway through the song.
Idiots.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Perfect time.
I might have to leave that in. All right, how about we
Just
move on to...
Get rid of the S on that. Just idiot. Like,
Nah, I mean, I blame all of you
You don't have those
for
labeled
not
yet?
helping me.
No. Why
Quit
would he
it.
label them?
Walter?
So easy.
Walter.
Why would he label them?
No.
Do it numerically and make it make a ton of sense.
No. Here we go.
1, 2, 7.
Go.
Crackle, Pluto, HBO, find anime on Crunchyroll, Peacock, Hulu, Disney, Netflix, Tubi, Sling TV, Shudder, Fubo. What the fuck is Fubo? Sure, it'll cause a sensation. It's a streaming recommendation.
You idiots.
All right, so we gave a lot of love to John C. Reilly, and I'm going to start off with streaming recommendations. This is where we tell you all about movies that might have some affiliation with the movie or just makes us think about some other movies. So I'm going to go ahead, and John C. Reilly and actually Will Ferrell are both in one of the weirdest, craziest, strangest movies. Came out in 2012.
Holmes and Watson?
What's that?
Holmes
No,
and
no, no,
Watson.
no, 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 no. And I talked about Step Brothers being a pretty hard R. There is a movie called Tim and Eric's $1 Billion Movie.
Oh.
And Tim and Eric had a show on Adult Swim, and it's just, they push the boundaries. And when they were allowed to do a movie where they could push the boundaries even further, it's just horrible, horrible, horrible. Like, you're going to watch it and you're going to be like, why am I watching this?
I've never even heard of these people. Who are you talking about?
Tim Heidecker and Eric, what's Eric?
Eric Andre?
No.
Who the fuck are we talking about right now?
You've never heard of Tim and Eric?
Tim and Eric,
Never heard of
they had a
Tim.
bunch of web like shorts and
Tim and Eric's
things.
awesome show.
They had a show on
something.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was on.
That's what it was called?
Yeah, Tim X.
Sounds dope.
Oh, no. Trust me. We're going to sit. This is a movie I think I talked about a long time ago on the podcast. I was like, we need to sit down and watch this at some point just because.
Tim and Eric, awesome movie.
Tim and Eric's $1 Billion Movie.
Is it okay for my 11-year-old?
Tom Hanks is in it.
Tom Hanks is
That
in it.
doesn't answer that question.
Maybe.
Skyline High alum, Tom Hanks.
But I will say John C. Reilly plays a character named Taquito. And God damn it, if you just don't feel so sorry for Taquito. He's got a rough life and he lives in a mall. That's all I'm going to say. And if you want to know more about John C. Reilly living in a mall,
Is it OG
you got to
Mallrat?
watch Tim and Eric's $1 Billion Movie.
Okay.
And you're going to regret it. 95% of you are going to regret it. But the 5% that appreciate it, you guys can be like, holy shit, how did I never watch
Now,
that?
Brad,
is
I
it-
know I'm going to regret
Is this on the same kind of like plane as like Tom Green, fucking Freddy Got Fingered type level?
Very much in that level.
Okay, got
Very much in that vein. Eric Andre, as Zach was saying earlier, Eric Andre.
That type of humor.
That type of really.
But this is not the Eric that we're talking about.
No.
Different Eric.
What is Eric's last name? I can't even think of Eric's last name right now. I apologize to Eric. But yeah.
Have
On
any of
Hulu.
them, have any of them been canceled yet?
No, they
Wareheim. Eric Wareheim.
Eric Wareham. There you go. And they're
Oh, of
not,
course, Eric Wareheim.
They're not like cancelable, but the movie is wild. Just straight incredible on Hulu.
All right. I'm going to watch
Check it out, please.
it. Is it okay for my 7-year-old daughter?
Oh, it's probably not appropriate for the 11 and 13-year-old.
Oh, then I'll show it to him.
It pushes like they'll be like, Dad, why are we watching this? Like, it's got some scenes in it. The
I will
ending
not show
scene
it to him.
towards the end.
I got in a little trouble for Step Brothers, so I don't think I'll be watching that one with him.
No. If Step Brothers got in trouble, this would be like a whole.
No,
different
not
level.
bad. It was cool, except for when she was like, "It's so slippery."
That's right. It's slippery, not slimy. I think we said slimy. That makes it sound a little gross.
Yeah.
All right, Scotch, what do you got?
So similar type of feel and a large group of men, children. I'm going to go with old school, the Will Ferrell joint. He's Frank the Tank in this, and it's just a super fun movie.
Directed by Adam McKay, right?
It's not.
That's what I heard, but I think that's wrong. I think it's actually.
I had heard that about 35
it's,
minutes ago.
It's Todd Phillips.
Todd Phillips.
Todd Phillips, our friend
Same
from The
as
Hangover.
Hangover, yeah. But yeah,
It's Todd Philippe.
super fun movie. I love it. It's on Paramount Plus if you have a subscription, or you can watch it on Pluto with ads.
You can watch it after you watch Yellowstone on Paramount Plus.
Is it on that too?
I think Yellowstone's on that shit.
Okay. I never know where shit is anymore.
I have all the streaming stuff because there's like one show on each one that we want to watch. It's so ridiculous.
I actually boycotted that one because I watched the first episode of Yellowstone.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I was done, it said, "No, you have to subscribe." And I was like, "Okay, fuck you. I'm not watching Yellowstone."
First 2 seasons are good.
If you have Peacock, they're all on Peacock now.
Oh, nice.
The cock we call it.
Cock.
Yeah. Max in the cock.
So there's your streaming recommendation, Yellowstone.
You just have to have max cock. For my streaming recommendation, I'm going to go before Brad because he might steal it. Although I don't think he is.
Brad already went.
He already went.
Because he's going with some fucking weird guys I've never heard of before. I am going to go John C. Reilly starring in one of my favorite Pixar movies, which is Wreck-It Ralph. 2000.
great one.
Call. It's a good call.
Really good. My boys loved it when they were little. My daughter loved it. The second one with the freaking, is it the first one or the second one where the it's a lot of Sarah Silverman driving the thing? She's in both actually,
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in both.
but the second one's
Vanellope
pretty wild.
Von
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweets.
Have you seen the second one?
Yeah.
It's pretty
goes to the
wild.
end. Ralph breaks the
some
internet.
some great animation and stuff in
And
that.
and they had the Disney princess scene, which is pretty
Yes,
classic.
it's fucking great. And they cross over into a lot of like shooting video games, which my boys were into at the time. So
Yeah, that's a great series of movies. I really appreciate that one.
Available on Disney Plus.
available on Disney Plus, maybe. Disney Plus is fucking weird. The shit that they decide to have on there, and like,
What?
Well,
they
it's
have
a-
all
it's-
the Pixar
it's
movies.
a Pixar.
some stuff's
So
not
it's
on there, dude.
Crazy. And that's actually not even a Pixar movie.
I just looked for
that
Tim
is
and
actually a Disney movie.
I
That's
just
a
looked for
Disney
Tim and
animation
Eric on there.
studio.
Not on there, dude.
It's on Hulu, which is owned by Disney, motherfucker.
That's exactly what I was saying. The Disney Plus didn't want it, or what?
If the Tim and Eric movie was on there and some kid accidentally came across it on Disney Plus and started watching it, oh my Lord, the scandal would be outrageous. All right, Walter, what do you got? What do you got streaming here, man?
I've got a couple, if that's cool, and it's not any of the ones you guys.
Well, Zach
said,
went
so it's
3
always
last
waiting.
week, or 2 weeks ago.
And
so.
they'll be quick. One of them is Farrell Takes the Field. It's from a few years ago.
Yes.
Will Ferrell played. I'm a big baseball fan, so
Played for the Mets or something.
he played for 9 different
No,
teams.
yeah, he went all
9 different
sorts of
positions.
spring training games.
I think it's 2015 spring training. So he played a position for an inning for 9 different teams at
He
spring
pitched
training.
an inning.
I think he threw 3 pitches, but yeah.
Yeah.
So and it doesn't get a ton of love because a lot of people are like, well, we could have seen more. It would have been a cool way to get more insight into spring training. But I think it's awesome. That's on HBO Max. Farrell Takes the Field. The other ones are a couple more of like the buddy man-child movies. Pineapple Express with Seth Rogen and James Franco. And a Due Date, which I think is one that not a lot of people have seen. That is hilarious. It's Robert Downey Jr. It's Zach Galifianakis.
Never saw it, yeah.
So Pineapple Express you can get it on Hulu, and Due Date you can also get on Hulu. So they're both there.
Owned by Disney,
Lots of good shit on Hulu.
not on Disney Plus.
Zach Galifianakis is also in Tim and Eric's $1 billion movie.
Is he really?
Is that where Between Two Ferns started?
No.
With those guys? No,
Oh, on
on the show.
it was on Adult Swim, and was it on Tim and Eric's show? I'm not exactly sure.
So Tim and Eric, their show is Tim and Eric show.
Awesome show.
Awesome show.
Great-
Great job.
awesome show, great job.
Great
Yeah.
job. Yeah. What's
the
his face?
fuck?
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
Who's the freaking Better Call Saul guy?
Bob Odenkirk's
Bob
a big
Odenkirk
part of that.
was
Yes.
part of that whole thing. So
Yes.
yeah, that's right.
It's got
Is
some
it a sketch show?
heavyweights.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's-
well, that
It's
kind
weird sketches. But
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, we are going to continue this little journey. We're almost done here, and let's go on.
No jet wash for Maverick, Meg still on that goose stick. Iceberg list Titanic, Leo's drawing that nude shit. Jim fucks Nadia like we all thought he should. Ricky and Doughboy get the fuck out the hood. Luke hooks up with Leia just like he's intending. It's time for a reshelf and alternate endings.
Dude, I think Prestige Worldwide should sign that dude.
I think so. I'm just sitting here just wondering. We've gone this long. We're almost done with the episode. Not one single set of balls has been on that drum set yet.
Yeah.
It's just sitting there.
Do you want to mic up the kit right now and just
We got the guys from Quad Pro
We could
Quad
play- we
coming
could-
later to put their nutsacks on it.
we could do a great trivia contest of whose balls is it anyway?
Oh, that'd be sick. We take
And
a
we
picture of a
each
mystery
drum-
set of balls.
That's the best ball
We
tone.
each
By the sound?
we each hit the snare
By
and
the
they got to
sound?
figure out by the sound whose balls
I like
were
the
they.
idea of posting on the socials a picture of a nutsack on the drum set, and you have to guess which member of BBK's nutsack it is.
Would that go viral?
And it's
I
like
don't know.
little braids.
Demonetized.
Little,
I might go
everybody
viral
knows
for the
it's
wrong
Brad.
reasons.
if the pubes are waxed.
Fucking waxed pubes.
Okay, yeah, we're on our good old reshelf it alternate endings, and I will say I did not actually create something for this.
So my whole problem with the premise of with the end of the movie is that Brennan does a good job at the end. It's fucking bullshit and goes against the whole fucking thing of the movie. He has to fuck up at the end. Like he never has that like it's going great, it's going great, it's going great, and the whole time I'm like, how's he gonna fuck this up? Like he's gonna be like, this is a great idea, and then he's gonna have like
he should like flown a chopper. He should have flown a chopper, and then it like takes off the head of like the Billy Joel like,
something just absolutely off the wall ridiculous has to happen at the very end where they're like, you did so good, and he makes up with his brother, and his brother's like, you know what, you're not a complete fucking piece of shit, and he's like, thanks Derek, and they're like hugging
Derek,
and then whatever his name was.
Derek,
the brother.
The brother.
The awkward hug.
Yeah.
Shit, we didn't even talk about the awkward hug.
The awkward hug was really rough.
But you know what I'm saying? Like they all make up, and then all of a sudden, like the time bomb that's been waiting to go off goes off, and you realize that Brennan has not done a great job. It's actually terrible, and fucking whatever it is, you got to figure out what the hijinks that ensue are going to be.
Right.
But you know what? You don't fuck up the Catalina fucking wine mixer.
But that's my point.
Do not do it. You don't
fuck it up.
You make it happen.
But it's Brennan. He doesn't know. He doesn't know he's fucking it up. He thinks he's doing great, right? That's the whole thing about these man-child. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like us.
When we took off our underwear on stage and threw it into the crowd.
Right. We decided to have a ball contest right in front of
like we talked about in the pod, so why not do it? We're like, Walter, judge this. And Walter just shook his head. He's like, nope, want no part.
Kind of like what he's doing right now. He's just sitting there going, nope, I'm not involved.
Anyways, I think that's the way to change the movie.
Well, I do have an alternate ending, which I think is pretty simple, and of course, in honor of our boy Nate, who's not
I was
here.
just about to do this.
You've got Derek. He tries to like make up at the end and stuff, and they give the most awkward hug you could ever do, and then all of a sudden the fangs come out, and he's a fucking vampire. Of course, he's a vampire.
You think Derek's a vampire?
Yeah.
Seen those abs?
Yeah, dude, those
ridiculous.
He's been working those abs for like 300 years.
No way that was an ab double. Those look so good.
So what I was gonna say was, so they do the whole song, and Brennan sings. They get to the big final, does the drum solo. Dale does the drum solo, and then he hits the big note, and then finally from around the corner, Horatio Sands from the Billy Joel 80s cover band comes from around the corner, bares his teeth, and fucking kills everybody.
Just kills everybody.
He's the vampire.
He's the vampire.
Okay. So, and that becomes Step Brothers Till Dawn.
I'm in for all these ideas. I think the best vampire is going to be the chick from The Office, where she just comes through and fucking, what's her name?
Chick from The Office.
Angela. Isn't that
Angela Kinsey?
That's not the chick from The Office?
What role?
The little blonde? That's not Angela from The Office?
Little blonde. Who's the little blonde?
Really? That's not Angela from The Office?
Which
little blonde?
You talking about Catherine Hahn?
Yeah, the one that's in love with Dale.
No.
Oh, that's
not Angela from The Office?
No.
Dude, doesn't it look like her, bro?
Not in any way.
At all.
All right, I'm going to look this shit up right now. I just watched this shit last night.
Google it.
I do want to just suggest, like, so
what's Angela from The Office's name?
Angela Kinsey.
God damn it.
Kins.
So
Catherine Hahn is.
If I'm not mistaken, again, does Catherine Hahn end up with Dale?
I think in a perfect world, yeah. Because, even though he breaks up with her and then makes her look at the whale and runs off, I think eventually...
Is she... Because she's not happy with Adam Scott.
Yeah. So I think they go 6 months later.
If she was blonde?
No.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Somebody on Reddit agrees with you, but
I also
don't
think
agree
Catherine
with
Hahn's like a foot taller than Angela.
Yeah. Anyway.
So I mean, like... Dale's gonna come back around, right?
I think so. I think she's gonna keep trying. She's gonna keep doing little secret rendezvous, like taking him around the corner.
She's shown up at karaoke. She's definitely shown up at karaoke.
Oh, karaoke night.
Shoving him up her vagina for sure.
Oh yeah, he's gonna end up in that vagina.
Does Derek ever figure it out?
Derek's got his head so far up his own ass.
Yeah.
He doesn't know
I don't think
what the fuck's going on.
He has no idea.
He'll figure it out when she stops coming to the vocal lessons. Like, where's my harmony?
I think
I've been working on it at karaoke. Okay.
I think Derek and Rob Riggle got a thing going on the side, and
Yeah.
Rob Riggle's like, pow, giving him a little pow.
For sure.
So
Yeah, that's probably where that goes. Okay. Well, that's some alternate endings for y'all. Not our most traditional version, but that's how it goes sometimes on BBK.
can't believe that wasn't Angela from The Office. It's blowing my mind.
Zach
right
just threw a little depth charge in the whole thing here.
It's fucking killing me right
After
now.
I shagged her, I was like giving props to
And the
Captain
whole time
Holland.
I was like, and he's not even going to mention that she was in The Office? This is wild.
All right, so this has been Step Brothers, and again, if you just joined us, we've got a lot of episodes. You can see right now, this is like episode 120 something. We've been around for a little bit. Go back and listen to some of our your favorite movies have been probably covered on BVK. Check them out. We've got some great drafts, including next week we will be drafting the most memorable man-child / immature adult characters in movies, and so that's going to be happening next week. So that's the way the BVK works. You've got a movie, and then we'll have a draft related to that movie. A whole new episode next Tuesday.
Would Michael Scott, if we were going from TV, would Michael Scott qualify as a man-child?
Oh, yes.
100%. Yeah,
100%.
even, and this is one time I'll agree that he would fit a lot more than the original Office.
Oh, than Ricky?
Than Ricky Gervais, for sure. Because he's definitely more of a man-child than Ricky Gervais. Although Ricky Gervais is a pretty good man-child.
Why are you saying like that? Gervais.
Gervais.
Ricky Gervais.
Gervais.
David Brent.
Ricky
You want me
Gervais.
to-
Slapping Gervais.
Ricky Gervais.
Slapping
That's- when you guys
Gervais.
were playing air drums earlier, I was doing it up here.
Oh yeah, super high. All right.
Hold it up here. Ricky Gervais.
All right, so we're gonna be drafting that shit, and check us out on the socials.
Drafted that shit.
It's been just just a cliff. We've just been kind of just cruising off a cliff, rolling down it.
Gonna be drafting that shit.
So that's what's happening next week. Check us out. Comment on the socials. We will message you back if you hit us up on Instagram or Facebook, and we might get our Twitter going again. Oh, it's not even called Twitter now.
X.
It's X.
Yeah, we might get our X going
We might
again.
start Xing y'all.
Send us an X. So
Send us an X video.
how is this not going to turn into some porn thing? Old Muskie.
It's just
He's crazy.
The brilliance of the stupidity is awesome.
Of Elon.
Oh man! All right, so we're gonna catch you up next week. Zach, get us out of here.
Bye-bye.